Artificial intelligence is rapidly infiltrating our everyday lives. And now Democrats on Capitol Hill are forming a new working group focused on AI. The goal is to prevent deep fakes. Those are manipulated or fake videos that can be used to create damage or chaos for the public, national security, or the upcoming presidential election. The new Democrat coalition is a group of nearly 100 House Democrats, and they announced the initiative this week. Congressman Don Beyer from Virginia is one of the vice chairs for the first ever AI initiative, and he joins me now live. Congressman, thank you so much for your time today. Good to see you.
Thank you. It's fun to be with you. Thank you.
So, Congressman, congratulations. I understand that you recently went back to college to learn more about artificial intelligence. How is it going? What did you learn? And what do you think Americans most need to be aware of right now when it comes to AI?
Well, the college has been wonderful fun. I start my 5th class on Monday at George Mason University. I still have a long way to go, but building on it is giving me not just a much better insight into how artificial intelligence works, but also connecting me and connecting our peers to people that are right at the very center of this revolution.
Now that Congress is taking up the issue, tell us what this working group on artificial intelligence will be tackling exactly, especially in terms of everything we just discussed, national security, deep fakes, and the like.
Yeah, I think the exactly is the hard part. What we're trying to do is avoid the mistakes we made with social media 20 and 23 years ago, where we didn't understand it and we didn't really do anything to rein it in. And obviously, social media has been extraordinarily constructive and destructive too. Artificial intelligence will be the same way. There's so much good that is already coming from it, especially in healthcare. The ability to diagnose lung cancer and breast cancer and idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, et cetera, much more effectively. But as you pointed out in your introduction, we do have to be worried about deep fakes. We're worried about what artificial intelligence could do to election security, what it will do to job elimination, which is the most obvious thing. There's lots and lots of jobs we might not need anymore. And what do we do with those people trained and educated for that specific sector? So what we're going to try to do is try to figure out what are the guardrails that Congress can put in place, and how do we begin to engage that community to plan for a world where artificial intelligence is everywhere in our lives.
And you're right about that, Congressman, because there has been this open chorus of concern when it comes to AI from people in Washington, such as yourself, but also people who are working on the tech. I mean, in fact, when President Biden met with 4 CEOs who are developing AI right now, Biden had this to say. He said, what you're doing has enormous potential, but it also has enormous danger. So how do you protect against the rise of artificial intelligence? How do you do it?
One of the things we can't do is uninvent the mathematics. That's never seemed to work, is to shut down and try to go back to a simpler time of living. But what we can do is make sure that the laws are in place so that when AI is abused, and that's really what it's about. People will be using it in very positive, healthy ways, but other people will be using it for organized crime, to steal funds, to worst case, pornography, child pornography. So we need to make sure that we can punish and catch the people that are using AI inappropriately and develop ever better standards for how AI is to be used.
I want to circle back to something that you had said, Congressman, because you said that we don't want a repeat of what happened with social media. We want to make sure that we get ahead of everything this time. But there are other parts of the world right now that have been quick to regulate artificial intelligence. The EU, for example, they passed the Artificial Intelligence Act, and that happened back in April. So why has the United States been so slow to regulate artificial intelligence?
I think it's humility, that we don't want to over-regulate. We're not quite sure how to do it. Even the EU AI Act, which we've studied very closely, we think wouldn't fly in our culture at all because it so suppresses innovation and creativity, and really wants government to come in and regulate every phase of it. Well, we know that that's not the culture that we have. We're much more about freedom than about regulation. And the regulation that we want to do has to be shown to be necessary and cost effective.
But what do you do when you see ChatGPT, for instance, and you see it write an entire book or a news story or an entire song in 3 seconds. I mean, what do you say to the people of America right now? Should they be scared that their jobs will become obsolete?
Well, many jobs won't be. And this is a leap of faith, but every time we've seen a technological breakthrough in human history, it's displaced some people, and people have been afraid about what it would mean. Certainly, we've seen that with computers, and before that, with manufacturing technology, with agricultural technology. And yet, we have 8 billion people on the planet right now, and we can't find enough people for the jobs that are open in the United States. It always creates more opportunities, but people are going to transition. We have to make sure that we're helping the people that transition. And it's a brave new world. What we do need to do, I think, is think as deeply about these things as we can. There are a number of working groups on the Hill. This new Democratic working group I'm part of is the latest and maybe even the best. But we're all going to have to work together to make sure that we quash down the bad parts and extol and congratulate ourselves on the good parts.
Things, Congressman, are working. They're moving so quickly, and I am the mother of a 10-year-old, and sometimes I look to the future and I wonder, how do I advise him? You know, what do I say in terms of a career path? What would you say to future generations right now in terms of what jobs are going to look like?
Well, the one thing we know that we can't replace are jobs that care for other people. And that may be as simple as a nursing home, teachers, historians, writers. You talk about, ChatGPT can write a book in 3 minutes, but is it any good? Because all ChatGPT can do is imitate what they've learned by reading other books. But the real creativity and the human spirit is going to come from things that are novel. That there's no way ChatGPT, they can do math problems faster than we can. They can pull things out of the data bank faster than we can, but they'll never even be able to think the way we can.
Yeah, we're going to keep our fingers crossed on that one. Congressman Don Beyer from Virginia, thank you so much for your time today, and good luck in school.